Good evening. My name is Nat Tupper. I'm the Yarmouth Town Manager. Welcome to what I think is the 174th annual town meeting of the town of Yarmouth, somewhere close to that. I see the Shannon family has arrived and are seated now, so there's no reason for us to wait any longer. Yeah. She obviously was not originally a Shannon. So in just a moment, I will call on our town clerk, Lisa Grant, who's down here in the front, for the calling of a nomination for the moderator to run the meeting. You can nominate anybody you want. Horace Horton, who has been doing it for many years, has already taken the seat.
Yes, he does.
And he's armed. So, no, kidding. You can make any nomination that you would like. Once the nominations close, she will ask for written ballots. Because we expect the outcome to be predictable, she will just collect the ballots up here first. And then if anybody else wants to write on a piece of paper any name that's been nominated, you're welcome to it. She'll collect that and count them. And once that is done, she will swear in the moderator, Mr. Horton or whoever gets elected, and we will go from there. So thanks very much, folks. If you haven't silenced your phone yet, it'd be a good idea, and we'll go from that. Thanks for coming. Ms. Grant.
Thank you all for coming to the Yarmouth Town meeting. We'll start the meeting by asking for any nominations for the moderator. Any nominations?
Tom Rainsborough. I nominate Horace Horton to be the moderator of this meeting.
Second.
All right. Pass ballots, please.
I thought Tom was nominating himself.
You don't have to. I get one. They'll just take those.
Keep on going. If there's any more, I don't know.
Do you want to vote?
So by unanimous vote, Horace Horton will be our moderator for this evening.
Back here. She doesn't know.
Do you, Horace Horton, swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Maine, so long as you shall continue a citizen thereof, so help you God? Do you swear that you will discharge to the best of your abilities the duties incumbent upon you as moderator of this meeting according to the Constitution and the laws of the state, so help you God?
If you couldn't hear it, he said yes, he would.
That's it for her. Anybody?
Thank you all very much. And Nat, thank you as usual. Great job putting this town meeting together for the umpteenth time, and we appreciate it. A few things to do before we get into the business of tonight's meeting, and we've got a few awards and announcements. Let's see, and I think first of all, Tim Shannon will introduce the Latchstring Award winner. Tim?
Good evening. Every year, the Yarmouth Town Council awards the Latchstring Award to a resident who has contributed time, effort, and a concern for an extended and exemplary period for the benefit of the community. The honor derives its name from the town motto, "Our latchstring always out." It is intended to acknowledge the residents whose leadership keep Yarmouth a warm and welcoming community. Past recipients include an impressive list of people devoted to Yarmouth, serving it and us with distinction. Tonight, we add a name to that list, Carla Hunt. Carla has demonstrated exemplary leadership and citizenship through her service to the community, which has included founding the Yarmouth Compassionate Housing Initiative to help Maine's asylum seeker families with transitional housing needs, working with the New Mainers Assistance Program to connect these families with housing, transportation, ESL courses, and other services, assisting in the launch of the Yarmouth Community Coronavirus Task Force, which helped people experiencing food shortages, social isolation, medical and transportation needs in the wake of the pandemic. And what's more, the award honors her work responding to a racial hate crime impacting our young BIPOC community and implementing a community response through a restorative justice process. In addition to coordinating the efforts of the Yarmouth Compassionate Housing Initiative, she is currently board president of Maine Initiatives, a community-based philanthropic organization that engages and connects with people around shared values of racial, social, economic, and environmental justice in Maine. Carla also serves as a board member of the Maine Prisoner Advocacy Coalition. She is an educational facilitator for Wabanaki Reach, an organization supporting self-determination of Wabanaki people. And she has served on the search committee for this Yarmouth School District Superintendent and worked as an informal mentor to students of the Yarmouth Black Student Union. It is a long and impressive list. Please join me now, in recognizing and celebrating Carla Hunt for her service to the town.
Wonderful to have a neighbor and a friend present this award to me. That is community. And I want to also thank the town council and all the community members out there that had a hand in putting this together. I'm so appreciative. I was and still am startled to hear that I am the recipient of this honor. There are so many of you in front of me and shoulder to shoulder who could be standing here tonight, beginning with Andrew and Lysaet, who do so much but don't get credited, and so many of you who are also so deeply involved in the work. I'm humbled to be in this spot tonight. One of the things that motivates me to action is our children. I was a staunch advocate of my child, who is now a young adult, and for all the children, particularly those whose identities are not mainstream, by virtue of race, ethnicity, gender, ability, language, etc. This thread runs through the racial justice and equity work, the work with asylum seekers, the COVID work, my work with prison reform, and with educating non-Native communities about Wabanaki history. The universal cry of all mothers is to see our children grow up in a just world with opportunities to take their joyful, rightful, contributing places in our neighborhoods, schools, towns, in our world. I want to share a couple of verses from a poem that I heard this Friday for the first time at a First Flight retreat. I now understand that it's been publicly shared and recited many times, but for me it's very new. It is The Cure at Troy by Irish poet Seamus Heaney. I'll read 2 of the middle verses that say, quote, "History says don't hope on this side of the grave, but then once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme. So hope for a great sea change on the far side of revenge. Believe that a further shore is reachable from here. Believe in miracles and cures and healing wells. I believe that we can get to that further shore together. Let's continue the work that we've begun and dream outside the boundaries. Thank you."
Okay, next item, we have 2 retiring town council members, Tim Shannon and April Humphrey, and they both are receiving chairs tonight. I think they're going to each give a chair to the other. So April and Tim.
Good evening, Yarmouth. It's wonderful to see you all here tonight. I have been tasked with the job of presenting a town chair to Councillor Tim Shannon in honor of his 6 years of service on the town council. At first, I was a little nervous. What was I going to say about Tim? Well, as it turns out, I had very little work to do for this speech because once word got out that I was presenting Tim's chair, my inbox just started lighting up with notes from people who have worked with Tim. And aside from one comment from a friend from North Yarmouth that I can't repeat here, they were all so positive that I had to share them. For instance, our esteemed town manager, Nat Tupper, expressed how relieved he is that he will finally be able to get a word in edgewise. In all honesty, he said, every person who serves on the town council brings something unique and valuable to the town and to my life. Tim Shannon has been no exception, and among his many gifts, he brought a tremendous respect for the values of the voices of the public and his fellow councilors, a self-deprecating sense of humor, and intentionality to make a better future for Yarmouth, and a very thoughtful and sincere kindness to all things. He will be missed, but the mark he left on making the town council better, more caring, and more committed to the work of town government will never fade away. Our police chief, Dan Gallant, wanted everyone to know that Councillor Shannon is a tireless advocate for Yarmouth, who cares deeply about Yarmouth's citizens and employees. And Kate Shub, our school committee chair, said, "Tim, on behalf of the entire school committee, thank you for your support of our schools through the years. We appreciate your hard work and good sense of humor. Thanks for your service to our town, and I look forward to seeing you on the ball fields." And Megan Casey, I saw her, she's here somewhere, oh, right there. Megan Casey served with us for 3 years on the town council, and she said that one of the things she learned about Tim Shannon is just how much he despises asphalt. Megan said, if he had his way, Yarmouth would be car-free. His ideas challenged me to think outside the box about how to make Yarmouth more pedestrian and bike-friendly. And school superintendent Andrew Doloff even wrote in, and he wanted me to share what a passionate supporter and challenger of the schools Tim is. Dr. Doloff said, Tim advocates energetically to ensure our schools have the resources needed to provide students with the best learning opportunities, and he encourages us to do better and reach higher in every situation. And finally, town resident Cam Shannon wrote in. This is what she had to say. As a Yarmouth resident, I am grateful for Tim's commitment, enthusiasm, and intelligent leadership on the council. As his wife, I am grateful to welcome him back to family dinners and tuck-ins on Thursday nights. Serving on the town council is a great honor. It is also a sacrifice, especially on the part of our partners and children. So to Cam, Emma, Henry, and Claire Shannon, who are all here tonight, I say a hearty thank you on behalf of the entire town of Yarmouth for sharing your husband and dad with us these past few years. This is about Tim, not me, but I wanted to also take this opportunity to thank Dan and Annalise Feldman, my family. Thank you for your support and encouragement these past 6 years. I hope that I have made you proud. None of us up here can do this without the support of our families, and we are grateful to you. Tim, it has been an honor serving with you on the council. I have learned a lot from you, especially about process and composting. More than anything, I have appreciated your friendship. Thank you for your service, and congratulations on earning a town chair.
Thank you, April, for the mostly true words. All well received. I was told by Nat I could say a couple words of thank you, which in the lexicon of the town council means several words, but I promise to keep it as short as I can. I came to this position not knowing everything that the town council did, or everything that the town did. Throughout advocacy of the schools, of course, and yes, for Yarmouth, I knew it passed the school budget. I knew it had other budgeting functions, and I knew the basic functions of government: fire, police, roads, public services. My sense was, probably like most of yours, things just somehow worked. I'm not sure I could have recited all the things that worked, but I just knew it or felt that they did. What I discovered was that the Yarmouth Town Council undertakes and oversees an enormous range of work, and that the town oversees an enormous range of tasks. I discovered, and I promise this list will go not too long, comprehensive planning, zoning, development policy, police operations, fire rescue EMT, transfer station operations, recycling, my own personal favorite, pay as you throw, a 5-year, 37 public meeting effort, senior services, the STAY program, stormwater management, that's for you, Steve, affordable housing, solar power purchasing agreements, parks and lands and open space from canoe rentals to the West Side Trails, the Brown-tailed Moth Initiative, the Gun Give Back, LED streetlights, tax incremental funds, the Charter Amendment, the Cousins Island Ferry, the Community Center, chicken coop regulations, dog parks, the North Road Playground for kids, the sale of town properties, paving and roads, yes, capital funding, and of course budgets and operations. Our work included projects that have ended, like the winding down of the Village Improvement Society, and things yet to come, like the solar farm at the Pole Yard on Sligo Road. Our work in the last year alone has looked back to property lines drawn before Maine was a state and ahead to the repurposing of Wyman Station. The town council's work spans every age group, every social stratum, every neighborhood. Now, what I've just read is a greatest hits list of our common joint endeavors as a community. In most cases, these are things we do together. We all share the same roads. We all drive down the same main street. We all get the same sand in our toes at Sandy Point Beach, or, more often, freeze together on the sidelines in the same town parks and playing fields. We all throw our recycling on the same table, and our kids all go to school together. Town government is just another term for town life, which is just another term for us. My time on the town council has been a 6-year course in how 8,000 people live together, their lives touching each other in ways beyond imagining and beyond numbering. Our work on the council has ranged from programmatic and operational improvements, better senior services, better recycling, solar power, stronger school support, to, more commonly, steady stewardship of the countless ordinary work of government. The town council does this work for you, for us. And a common theme, a common thread running throughout is a strong sense of community. That sense of community is supported by an extraordinary town staff. Dawn Madden, who runs our finances, the computers, and pretty much everything that works. Eric Street's leadership of public works, ranging from street cleaning to the transfer station. Steve Johnson's uncontainable and inexplicable enthusiasm for stormwater management. Karen McNeil's astonishing, and I mean astonishing, range of activities with parks, open spaces, general assistance, Yarmouth Community Services, summer programs, and other activities that breathe life into this town. Mike Robitaille at Fire at EMT. Dan Gallant's thoughtful leadership of our police. Heidi Grimm in our terrific library, whose services run the gamut. Aaron Zerrico in planning, and Lisa Grant, our incredible town clerk. Our town also benefits from Nat Tupper, whose title as town manager belies his true role in town. It is impossible to overstate how much he knows and how much he cares. From municipal finance to town history to the operations of every corner of this town, Nat is in charge, and we are grateful for it. This past year, the councilors have gone from muttering to outright stating my appeals for public comment and participation. Words like pathetic and desperate have been thrown about. So my admonition to you, and my wife had admonished me not to finger wag too much, particularly to the people who are here. Get to know Yarmouth, get to know it better, get to know it deeper, more deeply, and more strongly than you do now. Tell a friend, invite them here next year. This is a wonderful town. The town council works best not just for you, but with you. It's been a wonderful 6 years. I want to thank Cam for tolerating so many Thursday nights away, my kids for tolerating all those hours I could have spent with you, and all the hours I'm looking forward to spending with you now. You've been my team. Thank you. I love you. And I love you, Yarmouth. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
I promise this is about the last you'll hear from me. No applause, please, for that. Exactly. I am pleased to present Councillor April Humphrey with her Yarmouth chair. I'm so proud of my friend April Humphrey and so grateful for her 6 years of service on the town council that I hardly know where to begin. Should I tell you of her incredible grit in the face of slings and arrows in public service? Should I tell you of her commitment to every corner of Yarmouth, including and perhaps especially its most vulnerable? Or of her infectious, hearty laugh? Or her generous sense of humor? Or her fundamental generosity? I could speak at length about these and many other of her fine qualities. I have seen, sat with, and or spoken with April every Thursday night for 6 years. Nearly 300 Thursdays. I have observed her up close in public meetings and private sessions on topics large and small, sometimes jointly under duress, sometimes deep in thought, hearing stories about work and home and life along the way. I have gotten to know April. So yes, I could speak knowledgeably about all these fine traits I just listed. But tonight I want to highlight just one. It's an underappreciated trait in much of the wider world, but as I've come to appreciate on the council, and watching April in particular, it's absolutely essential, priceless. April is thoughtful, deeply thoughtful. By that I don't just mean considerate and polite, although she is that. I mean in the sense of someone who considers the matters before her deeply, carefully, and wisely. Someone who's interested in the operation of the town and engages all sides of the questions before her. We had a matter come before us a few years back. I won't reveal the exact nature because this is a small town, and I remember talking to April about it. She liked the proposal at first. It sounded all the right notes, checked all the right boxes, but there were some warning signs. Public testimony was divided, and some very compelling speakers had made some very compelling points. I'm not sure which way I'll vote, she told me. She rattled off the pros and the cons. She had digested them all. There truly were pros and cons, and good reasons to vote in a way she hadn't anticipated. So, in the end, she was swayed and voted accordingly. There were many such votes, many such instances. April's vote was never automatic, never lazy, rarely rushed. Often April would voice her thoughts and help steer the discussion. Sometimes she offered amendments. Rarely did she utter yes or no without sharing a bit of her thought process. In short, April has dug in and read and studied and listened and weighed and served, capably and thoughtfully, for 6 years. 6 years of service to the town, to you. She hasn't borne the burden alone, of course. April was and is supported by her husband Dan and her daughter Annalise. Whether showing up in meetings or bucking up her spirits, we all knew how much they helped. Are they here tonight? We also know how much they sacrificed. There were countless missed dinners, hundreds of hours taken away from family time, and I am sure more than a few hours of discussion and unpacking. Public service is a team effort, and Dan and Annalise have sacrificed and given and worked mightily for 6 years. We thank them too. But let me end on a lighter note, one befitting April as well. Through all the work, all the sacrifice, we've had a lot of fun. April's laugh is robust and infectious. She has a wonderful, wonderful sense of humor. I hope and know there will be much joy in her home upon her return from the council. Good. April, you deserve it, and this chair. Take it as a token of our appreciation for 6 years of wonderful service. Thank you.
I am truly going to be brief. I strongly echo everything that Tim just said, and I'm not going to repeat it all.
About how great you are?
And I'm not going to repeat it all. No, I'm not going to repeat it all. But I do want to just reiterate, thank you. Thank you to the town of Yarmouth for voting me into this office twice, for giving me this opportunity to just participate in town government and get to know so many people and so many issues in the town. I've learned so much, and thank you to my family, to Dan and Annalise. I do truly hope that I have made you proud in the work that I've done, and I have always kept you in my mind, and in the mind of, in terms of our community. So I also want to just say one other thank you to the town staff, to all the department heads who are here, and also just all of the town staff who work so hard on our behalf. And a special mention to our town manager, Nat Tupper. He has been just an amazing support to me and to all of the council over the years, and it made it as easy as possible and as seamless as possible to get involved and get oriented and know the issues and be able to get our heads around just all of the different topics that we have to talk about and know about. So thank you to all of you. But more than anything, thank you to my family. Thank you to the town for giving me this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Where's Carol? Oh, here she is. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Tim and April. Great remarks from both, and congratulations on receiving a town chair. We'll really miss you both on the council, and Carla, we know you're still going to be around, so we expect greater things. Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce Nat Tupper, Town Manager, who will in turn introduce members of the Town Council.
I'd be delighted, and I've told them they're not allowed to make any speeches. So, way down at the end, April Humphrey, who's finishing her 6 years. Tim Shannon, finishing 6 years. Randall Bates, who will never finish. So he's in his third or fourth term or something. It's a life sentence for some. Michelle Gromedy, who is finishing up her first term and running for her second. We have Heather Abbott, who is, I guess, in her first full term. She finished somebody else's term. We have Zoe Wolf, who this weekend got married to a man named Nathaniel. How good can you get it? And finally, Mr. David Craig, who's also in his third term. Those are the town council members, and I'm sure the superintendent can remember who's on his left.
Good evening. Yes, I'd like to introduce members of the school committee. First, to my far left, your right, is David Ray, who's a rookie in his first year, although it might be his fourth or fifth term, I'm not sure how many. Michael Wilbur, to his right, who's finishing up his first term and running for a second. Newell Auger, who is in his second term. Allison Hodgkins, who is finishing up her third term and is the smartest person on the stage this evening, as she is not seeking re-election. Jess Garou, who's in her second term as well. She's our vice chair, and chairperson Kate Schubb, also in her second term. And if I could, I know this is something Nat always does, and I neglect to do it. I'd like to recognize members of the school department staff who are here this evening. I've got 36 years in this business, in quite a few high-quality school districts. This is the best, and it's the best because of the students and families that we have that support the schools, the community that supports the schools, and the staff who work so diligently each day with your students. So I'd like any members of the Yarmouth School Department staff who are here this evening to stand and be recognized.
Thank you, Superintendent Dolph. I'd also like to have all the staff at the town office stand so that we could recognize and appreciate what you have done for us each year. Please, mostly up in the back. Okay. Always a pleasure to get these things out of the way, and it's fun to do them and honor folks with chairs who have given great service to the town of Yarmouth. I always want to thank Nat for putting together such a great warrant and the procedure that we use for town meeting each year. There are a couple of things that we should remember. When you came in, you registered and you received a green slip of paper. This is what you will vote with. So when we ask for a vote, hold these up. That way we'll notice that you're a registered voter for the town of Yarmouth. Please silence your cell phones now before we start in. Let's see, the center mic for if you have questions. Where's the mic up there?
There's one right there.
One there.
It's very hard for us to see, but there's a mic there.
Okay, if you have questions or want to make comments, the mic is up in the far right corner. Please use that when speaking. If you have questions, please address them through me, the moderator. The procedure that we use, and you have copies of the Citizen's Guide to Parliamentary Procedures. We'll use those this evening. It's kind of the regular reading the warrants and voting until we get to Article 16, which requires by state law a written ballot. So at that point, there'll be a chance to actually physically vote for Article 16. And then when we finish the warrants this evening, you'll have a chance to cast secret ballots at the polls on the 13th in 1 week for the elections and other items, including confirmation of the school budget. So that's what we've got to do tonight, and that's the procedure. Nat has a list of other Latchstring Award winners that are here tonight that he could recognize. Nat, would you
I'd be
read
delighted to. And if I've missed anybody, it's because I can't see people in the dark. We've got the bright lights on us. But I just wanted to note that our Latchstring Award winners from prior years, several are here, including Lee Kirshner, who was last year's award winner. Sharon McDonald and Gib Parrish are here. Tom Rainsborough, who started us off with a motion. I saw Margaret Downing, and I think she's still here somewhere. Dan Austria, I believe, is in the back of the room, or was. And Horace Horton got that award many, many years ago and still earns it every year.
Thank you,
So
Nat.
thank you all.
And thank you. Okay, so let's get on with the warrant and the voting for the town business this evening. So we'll read down, you all have a copy of the warrant. We'll read down through each article. Pre-selected will be a town councilor or a school committee member who will address each warrant, and then we'll vote on that. So let's go. Article 2, to see what sum the town will vote to authorize for regular instruction. Councilor Humphrey, do you have a motion?
I move that the town vote to authorize $16,811,017 for regular instruction.
Thank you. The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will all those in favor please so signify by raising your card? Thank you. All opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 3, to see what sum the town will vote to authorize for special education. Councilor Shannon, do you have a motion?
I move that the town vote to authorize $5,401,705 for special education.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 3. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 4, to see what sum the town will vote to authorize for career and technical education. Councilor Bates, do you have a motion?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I move that the town vote to authorize $0 for career and technical education.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion?
If I could, I would just like to speak to this briefly. I want folks to understand that we actually have more students participating in career and technical education now than we have in the past. The funding mechanism is now different. It is funded directly to the career and technical education schools in Portland and Westbrook, rather than having the money come to us and then to those schools. But we still must have this warrant article because that's not true for every school in the state, and this is a state-mandated warrant article. So we do have students participating in CTE. It just doesn't cost us anything up front.
Great, thank you very much. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor, please so signify. Thank you. All opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 5, to see what sum the town will vote to authorize for other instruction. Councilor Cromartie, do you have a motion?
I do. I move that the town vote to authorize $1,281,156 for other instruction.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 5. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 6, to see what sum the town will vote to authorize for student and staff support. Councillor Abbott, do you have a motion?
I do. I move that the town vote to authorize $3,338,641 for student and staff support.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 6. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. And all opposed? 2. Thank you, and the motion carried. Article 7, to see what sum the town will vote to authorize for system administration. Councillor Wolf, do you have a motion?
I do. I move that the town vote to authorize $957,861 for system administration.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? Article 8. I'm sorry, the motion is carried. Article 8, to see what sum the town will vote to authorize for school administration. Councillor Craig, do you have a motion?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I move that the town vote to authorize $1,701,244 for school administration.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 8. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 9, to see what sum the town will vote to authorize for transportation and buses. Councillor Humphrey, do you have a motion?
I move that the town vote to authorize $1,216,991 for transportation and buses.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 9. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 10, to see what sum the town will vote to authorize for facilities maintenance. Councillor Shannon, do you have a motion?
I do. I move that the town vote to authorize $3,275,842 for facilities maintenance.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 10. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. And all opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 11, to see what sum the town will vote to authorize for debt service and other commitments. Councillor Bates, do you have a motion?
Yes. I move that the town vote to authorize $2,540,999 for debt service and other commitments.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 11. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. And opposed? Thank you, and the motion is carried. Article 12, to see what sum the town will vote to authorize for all other expenditures. Councilor Cromartie, do you have a motion?
I do, thank you. I move that the town vote to authorize $65,000 for all other expenditures.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 12. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. And opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 13, to see what sum the town will authorize the school committee to expend for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2023, and ending June 30, 2024, from the town's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, non-state funded school construction projects, additional local funds for school purposes under the Maine Revised Statutes, Title 20A, Section 15690, unexpended balances, tuition receipts, state subsidy, and other receipts for the support of schools. Councilor Abbott, do you have a motion?
Yes. I move that the town vote to approve Article 13 as written.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 13. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. And all opposed? Thank you, and the motion is carried. Article 14, to see what sum the town will appropriate for the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12 as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act. And to see what sum the town will raise at the town's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12 as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act in accordance with the Maine Revised Statutes, Title 20A, Section 15688. Councilor Wolf, do you have a motion?
I move that the town vote to approve Article 14 as written.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 14. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 15, to see what sum the town will raise and appropriate for the annual debt service payments on any non-state funded school construction projects, non-state funded portions of school construction projects, and minor capital projects, in addition to the funds appropriated as the local share of the town's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12. Councilor Craig, do you have a motion?
I move that the town vote to approve Article 15 as written.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? And the motion is carried. Now we go to Article 16, which is a written ballot. And Article 16 says, to see what sum the town will raise and appropriate in additional local funds, which exceeds the state's essential programs and services funding model as required to fund the budget recommended by the school committee and town council. Councilor Humphrey, do you have a motion?
I move that the town vote by written ballot to approve Article 16 as recommended.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded for Article 16. And now this is a written ballot. Stretch your legs. So the town clerk has the ballot box and the ballots right down front. So please make your way down and cast your ballot. Oh, they have.
You have a little white paper with a yes, no. You can mark on that and just bring it forward.
Say 90-20.
I'm not going to announce the results because that's the moderator's job, but I grabbed a microphone on the way by to make two confessions. First confession is I neglected to point out Bill Goddard as a prior Latch String Award winner, and he's in the room. My second confession is related to that. My first year on the job here in Yarmouth, which was a long time ago, Bill was the Latch String Award winner. And I was assigned at the last minute to run up to Rite Aid, which is now Walgreens, and get a screw so that I could screw the little brass plate in the back of his chair for him. I didn't have the right tools, and I have no skill. And Bill has a chair with a broken screw with a crooked little brass plate on it. And he's still one of my favorites. Thank you, Bill.
Okay, and the results for Article 16, yes. 90, noes 15, so the motion is carried. Moving on to Article 17. To see if the town will vote to appropriate $1,078,600 and raise $65,000 as the local share with authorization to expend any additional, incidental, or miscellaneous receipts in the interest and for the well-being of the school nutrition program. Councillor Shannon, do you have a motion?
I do. I move that the town vote to approve Article 17 as written.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded for Article 17. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, will all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. And all opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 18. In the event that the Yarmouth School Department receives more state education subsidy than the amount included in its budget, shall the school committee be authorized and directed to use all of the additional state subsidy to decrease the local cost share expectation as defined in Title 20A, Section 15671-A, 1 and B, for local property taxpayers for funding public education as approved by the school committee. Councillor Bates, do you have a motion?
Sure. I move the town vote to approve Article 18 as written.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 18. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. And all opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 19, to see if the town will vote to authorize the Yarmouth School Committee to expend such other sums as may be received from federal or state grants or programs or other sources during the 2023-2024 fiscal year for school and or adult education purposes, provided that such grants, programs, and other sources do not require the expenditure of funds not previously appropriated. The school committee estimates that $865,481 will be received and applied against the fiscal year ending June 30, 2024. Councillor Cromartie, do you have a motion?
I do. I move that the town vote to approve Article 19 as written.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve Article 19. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. And all opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 20, to see if the town will vote to accept the categories of funds listed below as provided by the Maine State Legislature, as set forth below Article 20. Councilor Abbott, do you have a motion?
I move that the town vote to approve Article 20 as written.
Motion has been made and seconded for Article 20. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 21, to see if the town will vote to appropriate the sum of $7,270,058 of estimated transfers, fund balance, and revenues other than property taxes and school revenues to reduce the amount to be raised by property taxes or take any action relative thereto. Councilor Wolf, do you have a motion?
I move that the town vote to approve Article 21 as written.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 21. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 22, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $4,027,384 for general government accounts or take any action relative thereto. Councilor Craig, do you have a motion?
I move that the town vote to approve Article 22 as written. Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 22. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 23, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $3,772,388 for public safety accounts or take any action relative thereto. Councilor Humphrey, do you have a motion?
I move that the town vote to approve Article 23 as written.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 23. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? Thank you, and the motion is carried. Article 24, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $3,502,405 for public works accounts or take any action relative thereto. Councilor Shannon, do you have a motion?
I do. I move that the town vote to approve Article 24 as written.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 24. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? Thank you, and the motion is carried. Article 25, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $131,920 for health and welfare or take any action relative thereto. Councilor Bates, do you have a motion?
Yes, sir. I move that the town vote to approve Article 25 as written.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded for Article 25. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. And all opposed? Thank you, and the motion is carried. Article 26, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,998,557 for public services or take any action relative thereto. Councillor Cromartie, do you have a motion?
Thank you, I do. I move that the town vote to approve Article 26 as written.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 26. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? And the motion is carried. Article 27, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,402,575 for debt service or take any action relative thereto. Councillor Abbott, do you have a motion?
I move that the town vote to approve Article 27 as written.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 27. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. All opposed? Thank you, and the motion is carried. Article 28, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,907,474 for capital reserve accounts or to take any action relative thereto. Councillor Wolf, do you have a motion?
I move that the town vote to approve Article 28 as written.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded for Article 28. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, would all those in favor please so signify? Thank you. And all opposed? Thank you, and the motion is carried. Oh, yeah, sure. Just before we move to the next item, Nat has an announcement.
Oh, just an acknowledgement. I wanted to point out that Pat Conley and Sean Quirk are in the back of the room, have been running the audio and visual all night long, doing a terrific job, making things much better for us. And we thank them both because I have no idea what to do with that stuff.
Okay.
Ian Gilbert. Oh, Ian Gilbert. Okay. Thank you, too.
Okay, we've gone through the warrant. Following Article 28, the Town Council recommends adjourning the annual meeting to be continued on June 13 for voting by secret ballots on Articles 29 through 30. Councillor Craig, do you have a motion?
I move that the town meeting be adjourned until June 13, 2023, for opening of the polls and voting on Articles 29 through 30 by secret ballot at the Yarmouth High School Gymnasium off West Elm Street.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please so signify. Thank you. All opposed? Thank you, and this ends the meeting this evening.
I don't imagine